This thing's looking a little more like a loader. Got a couple of the cylinders on there. And I took this bracket off and flipped it up this way where the controller would be standing up instead of laying flat like it was. I think that'll help as far as routing my hoses and all that type stuff. And I'm using a different kind of throttle. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole in this, and I made this little bracket right here to put on here. This is the controller, so that slips onto that bolt, and I'll have a nut and a washer on there. And I'll have a bolt going down through there, and that'll hold the throttle right there. Then I'll have the cable routed around to the other side. This is the top plate off the hydrostatic, and I welded this on here. This is going to be a fluid return, and this is going to have the fill cap, the inlet and stuff in the top of it. And then I'm going to get ready to do the back plate here. So I got this fitting welded into this back plate. It's going to be inlet to the pump. It's going to draw fluid out of the bottom of the transaxle. So I'm hoping that's going to work. Trying to find some gaskets to put back on these plates right now. So I made this plate right here to mount the pump on, and then I've got this piece of, it's a piece of steering shaft from a go-kart, and I got this piece right here, drilled a couple of holes in it. I'm going to put pins in it there, and then this should slide onto here, and I'll have pins in it there, and that's got a little bit of flex to it, but then I'll also have a flex coupling right here for the pump to mount. So I'm waiting on new gaskets for that plate, the top plate there and the back plate back there, but I wanted to get this mocked up so that I could make sure that all of this was gonna pass through here without hitting. Of course those pins are just stuck through there right now, they'll be crimped and whatnot, but this will be the return hose coming down through here, back into here, and then you got the high pressure hose coming out of the pump, coming through this little notch out right here, and then following right along the side, going up the inside of that rail right there. But it looks like it's going to work as far as not hitting anything. Whether it's going to work otherwise is yet to be seen. So I couldn't find a gasket for this piece here, and it looked like it had a cork gasket on it anyway. So I just bought a little roll of this 1/16 inch cork. This is a piece that's about 12 inches wide and probably 36 inches long. And I just cut a piece out of it. Made this piece right here. And you can't drill through this or whatever to cut these holes out. So what I did, I had this little piece of tubing that was 3/8 inch inside diameter, and I just put it on the grinder and beveled the outside edge where it would be kind of sharp on the inside, and then you just use it as a punch. You just take your hammer and pulls the plug out. Makes you a nice 3/8 inch diameter hole. So I ended up with a gasket that would go on something like that. Well, I had to take the arms back off of here because I ran into, when I went to put the hood on, it doesn't even reach anymore because I have the front end slid all the way forward to make room for this gas tank. So I found another gas tank off of another motor that I had out there. It's just a little bit thinner this way. So I'm going to take this tank out, put the other tank in there, and see if I can slide this front end back to where when the hood closes it will meet like it's supposed to. This tank was a good 3/4 of an inch narrower this way, so when I pushed it all the way back, now I've got the front end pushed all the way back. And I think that black tank looks better in there anyway, but now when you close it down, the gap is completely closed up, which is the way it's supposed to be. So I've already done a little work to these front spindles, reinforcing them, but I just don't really like this small shaft on here. And I got these, which are hubs for a trailer, and they're 1 inch out here, but they're way beefier than that back here. That's probably 1.25 inches, 1 3/8, something like that. But I'm gonna see if I can use them because they have bearings and stuff in them. They'll be a lot better, and they're a 4-bolt pattern like a golf cart wheel would be, and I have plenty of those here. So I'm gonna take these off and see what I can do with this. So what I did on this spindle is I left this stem on there, and I went right above it and drilled my 1.25 inch hole in here, and then stuck the shaft through, welded it real good from both sides. But what that's going to do is I needed to drop the front end just a little bit anyway, because I'm going to a little bit bigger tire. And so I just left the stem on here, and that gave me a reference to how to line this up. If I would have cut this off first, then I wouldn't know, how to have this lined up. And then once I got it mostly welded on there, then I cut it out of the way and finished welding it. That's what I did. Well, and there it is, ready to go. Ready for the wheel to be bolted on. So now to do the other side. So I got the new heavier front wheel hubs put on there, and got the golf cart wheels and tires put on there. And I went from a 16-inch tall to an 18-inch tall. And then also back here, this is some cleated 4-wheeler tires, and this is the one set of rims that I had used to have on the semi that fits this tractor also. And got the hood on there all lined up, getting ready to put that back on. See what I can do with the bucket. One little bit of mess up I had when I mocked up everything is this is still going to hit the hood even though I moved the hood back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is probably just cut this at an angle, like up to the top of this hole here and back. But I'll need to put a little more reinforcement on this front side just to give a little bracing more for what I take out here. So I'm going to get that done. So I got a little bit of a V cut in that and an extra brace welded on the front of there. Got it all painted up, so it should be ready to go back on. Alright, got the bucket on there, got the arms back on there, and I'm really playing a guessing game on this right here, but I'm going to put a mount, something like this. It leans back and comes up, and that's roughly 27 inches from there to the bucket, which is what my cylinder is at its shortest run. So that would be this bucket tilted all the way back at the bottom, which is, that's enough tilt back right there, all the way at the bottom. So naturally, as it goes up, it will be tilted back more, but then I got to make sure that it's going to be able to completely dump. So this is a real guessing game with this bracket right here. I'm going to put just a little short stand up out of some of these pieces right there, and then have this piece up here like this. So I have this arm just welded on there temporarily. I just got it tacked on there. And I got the cylinder in there. And I just have this piece stuck through there just because it's a 1-inch pin. And I just tacked those mounting pieces on there right now because I want to get it plumbed in and cycle it in and out to make sure that that's going to be the right thing before I completely weld it in. I guess this would be a good time to end this video, and next time maybe we can fire this thing up and see what it's going to do. But thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.